Shabbat Shalom. Today we read from Kedoshim, which is a continuation of the Holiness Code from last week. The Holiness Code is a series of direct statements regarding the so-called holiness of the world around us, of ourselves, the community, and those we interact with, both physically and emotionally. These laws detail how, for example, the animals we own aren't really ours. Their meat must be shared with others, and their souls are part of God. The land we own isn't really ours. Parts of our property belong to the poor. The trees and plants we own aren't really ours. Only some of their produce belongs to us. And other human beings are to be treated as souls, not just as identities. But what exactly is holiness? And what do these assorted laws have to do with one another? Today, the definition of holiness is often mixed up with goodness. Although they're quite similar, they're actually two very different things. Goodness is doing the surface level, or what we think is the right thing to do. Donating to good causes, giving tzedakah, paying our taxes, being nice to people. Holiness, though, is the deeper level. For instance, we might assume a person of a lower economic status might need food, water, and money, so giving tzedakah is the good or right thing to do. Doing the holy thing, however, requires connecting to the deeper reality of what's going on in the universe. It means connecting to them as an expression of God. This person is not just poor, they are a soul. Maybe they need conversation more than food. Maybe they need somebody to simply sit with them and treat them as an equal. Holiness requires putting aside assumptions and looking at what is required in the current moment, looking at how each person and each thing is a soul with a history, a present moment, and a future. Maybe that's why one of the first laws is, "You shall each revere your mother and your father and keep my Sabbaths. I, Adonai, am your God." But why are our parents mentioned first? It's not that you should obey or be good to them, or even honor them. All of those could take place at the surface level. You did your mitzvah, and now you can move on. But revering them means seeing them as souls who have given up so much for you. This is especially true of our mothers. We see that mother is listed before father in the Holiness Code, while it's reversed earlier in the 10 Commandments. In my opinion, the reason it's this way in the Holiness Code is because mothers are the ones who are the easiest to treat at the surface level. They give up the strength of their bodies, time for their careers, etc., in order to provide for you. They think of you before themselves. In a way, our mothers are more holy than other people we know, and yet they might be the easiest people in the world to view superficially. That's just mom. That's what moms do. The rabbinic commentators knew this and agreed that when we are told to respect our parents, we tend to shift our gaze to our fathers. The work of motherhood, regardless of the gender of the person who does it, is not typically seen as empowering, important, or respected. To revere a mother is to see her not just as the caregiver, but to see that she had a past, a present, and a future that goes way beyond caregiving, all of which make her a soul. It takes holiness to cultivate respect for anyone and everything around us, but especially our mothers and their journeys. When another is a soul to you, they become your guide in life. I like the idea that something helps guide you, leads you to a place of being more intact, more hand in hand with the universe. The physical and emotional space that surrounds and pervades you can be holy. You just have to see it through a different lens. Now, you may have noticed that Shabbat was put in the same verse as revering mom and dad. Think of Shabbat Shalom. On the surface level, Shalom means hello, goodbye, and or peace. But when you look at it on a deeper level, it really means completeness. Shabbat fosters holiness because it creates a different way of perceiving the world, one in which all parts of the world are not tools, but are complete as they are. You step aside from the busyness of the week and become one with the world around you. It's a day that you spend around other people, especially your family. and you begin to realize the importance of the people around you, how they care for you, how they honor you by thinking about you, and how they listen to you when you need to let go of things. But we need to realize they're human too. They also need support. From personal relationships to Shabbat, we see each part of the world not just as a part of our own narratives, but instead that each has its own, their own pasts, presents, and futures. Our job is to be like God in a way. We have to help them on their journey as they help us on ours. Once we've accomplished this, we have officially begun being holy. We've seen the world through a different lens. And the Holiness Code extends the journeys to everything that has life in it. When you truly revere an animal, it can't be walking food because each animal has a past, present, and a possible future. Doing a mitzvah may be to slaughter it painlessly, but holiness is understanding why it needs to be painless, or even becoming vegetarian like my family. Doing a mitzvah might be using less fossil fuel, but holiness is doing it because the earth is a living thing and deserves to be treated with reverence. An important law in the Holiness Code says that the opposite of practicing holiness is practicing idolatry. But what is idolatry? To me, idolatry is a kind of innocence where we unconsciously begin to worship ourselves, what we want, what we need, and what makes us happy. When we think about everything this way, we neglect that others, nature, the community, the Jewish people also have a journey besides ours. When I forget that, I think I'm in the present moment, but really, I'm not. In reality, I'm up inside my head. This is especially important to remember when becoming an adult, because we're told adulthood is taking care of yourself. But when we become so focused on fending for ourselves, it becomes what our whole lives revolve around. How will I do this or that, and when? These are decisions that make one quite self-centered. Yet this is what we're taught leaving the nest means. This can dangerously lead to idolatry, by which I mean self-centeredness. What we really should be doing is getting away from self-focus and more in touch with God, with what's going on directly in front of us. Maybe that's why the rabbis say the commandment to revere your parents should remind you that you'll be taking care of them when they get old. When you spend time listening to and caring for another human being, whether a child or an elder, whether young or old, you begin to understand them on a deeper level, thinking about their journey and how it brought them closer to God, taking the spotlight off yourself. Getting older does not just mean you think of what you want and need, but it will also include the needs and wants of others, both now and later on. You can still maintain your own personal thoughts whilst being holy, being aware of everything else in the world around you as expressions of God. That can bring you closer together to the people that are already right next to you, even if you didn't really notice them before. That's what holiness is. Community, understanding. Shabbat Shalom. First off, I would like to express my deep gratitude for all of you here today. I'm grateful to be part of such a caring and loving community. Thank you to my mother, Lynn, for your warm attitude towards everything in life, for all the things you've taught me, and for being the best mom I could ever ask for. Thank you to Rav Nadav, my dad, for teaching me my fond appreciation of Judaism, writing my speech with me, answering all my crazy questions, and for always being there when I need help. Thank you to my sister, Ziva, for all your inspirational words, your extrovert energy that gets me energized, and all the time you spend caring for me and everyone else around you. Thank you, Lonnie Sussman, for teaching me Torah in such a deep, meaningful way over a cup of chamomile tea, being a really good tutor, and for explaining all the amazing parts of each Nancy Drew novel. Thank you, Meg Bernstein, for bearing a kind, warm smile to each of our rehearsals and for helping me get comfortable with all parts of the service. Thank you to my wonderful teachers at HTS and BIRS for your instruction, your help towards teaching me and my peers, and your strong passion for education. Thank you, Jenny Trigg, for helping alter both Ziva's and my dresses for today, giving us delicious lemonade and letting us in on all your writing secrets. Thank you to all my friends who came today for your joyous laughter and for your humble support. And finally, thank you to all my relatives here today for making a huge effort to be here with us right now. It really means a lot that you're able to make it. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Lynn's going to share words on behalf of both of us.
Marav, please take a moment and really feel this moment and look at all these people that are here to support you. This is what it means, sweetheart, to never be alone, because you are connected to the Jewish people and to the wisdom of Torah. Even though you received this gift by birth, you live during a complex time in history. Your world will beg you to turn your attention to constant distractions, often through a device. It will shower you with an incessant imperative to pursue self-fulfillment above constructive, collective action. And it will try to fool you into questioning Israel's legitimacy alone among nations. So while you received this gift by birth, a commitment to Torah, not just today, but lifelong, will require your choice. As you saw in your portion, Torah, just like any master teacher, has assignments. Things you may not understand, things you may not want to do, things that are not easy, things that you may not get credit for. But with the big and the small are always mighty when your actions are aligned with Torah. You are from a family of people whose most important adult decision was the choice to connect to Torah and to the Jewish people through time. I once asked your grandfather, Rabbi Ivan Kane, why he became a rabbi. He told me that when he was young, he did not like the way his family was behaving and the model they provided. And so he made a decision that he was going to live his life according to Torah, and that Torah would be his guide. He started studying with a local rabbi, and ever since he has devoted his life to living Torah. When your grandmother was a graduate student in philosophy named Kathleen Taylor, she found herself finding something missing from the secular analytical philosophy of her field, and she made a choice here in Ann Arbor 75 years ago to devote her life to Torah. And she has lived that life selflessly with the absence of recognition common to women's work ever since, both ritually, intellectually, and ethically. Your father made a choice, a career of writing, teaching, and academic achievement, or a life serving the Jewish people through Torah. And sweetheart, I made a choice by becoming Jewish and converting. And I did this because I wanted to be connected to a people who could speak openly about God, because I came from a family where I was not able to do that. And God is beautiful. And you can look around and you can see all the many miracles. And so today and beyond, you will have a choice to make, sweetheart. 100 years after we die, no one will remember us. Our lives are just a breath within God. What makes life meaningful is to serve a larger project, the project of the Jewish people on this earth through history. This is what it means to choose the covenant you were born into. Jews have been given a riddle of how to heal the world. But most people, including Jews, feel overwhelmed, so they just focus on themselves. And this is a trap that in the end makes us feel alone. Choosing to serve Judaism means sacrificing a lot: time, money, comfort. But in the end, it is what gets us out of ourselves and connects us to something much bigger. While this decision is hard, it is ultimately redemptive, as you explained so beautifully in your Devar Torah. It's a lot to ask of you, but your father and I are asking that when the time comes, you make the choice your ancestors made to commit to God's Jewish project and to the Jewish community. And may you find its redemption and the arms of your parents, grandparents, and of the Jewish people always around you. You are not alone. We love you. We love you so very much, and we are so proud of you.
Ziva, come on up.
Does she feel loved?
And Ziva, we love you as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, we're going to pick a date for your bat mitzvah.